Okay, it's 2 p.m. and welcome everybody, and thank you very much for turning up to yet another webinar that we have every single month on a certain subject. This month's subject is going to be contractors, and it's amazing how many people that I actually mentioned to that no matter what kind of business you're in, you're dealing with contractors in some way or another, and every single one of you are in some way. So there's contractors that you actually do to hire to undertake work for you, but you've also got contractors coming onto your premises either to do your test and tagging of your emergency equipment or electrical kind of fixing up electrical power points. All those different things, you've got two types of contractors. They all really need to be in your contractor register. So your contractor register is located on the top toolbar, but you can access it from this icon here as well if you wish. So same kind of process throughout the system, the red, orange, green process. When it's red, it means the contractor, you've actually just logged the contractor inside the system. When it goes orange, or when the contractor completes the 4-step compliance form, it'll go orange inside the system. And then you can actually verify it and it'll go green. So we're going to go through those processes so you can see exactly how it works. So in the contractor register, you'll have the name of the contracting company, the contact details of the person you actually deal with, their start date. You can actually have an end date if you actually use a contractor for a period of time. Their induction records of that contractor, and you'll see how that works shortly. Induction records if they've actually sent it out to a subcontractor. This document here, just like every single register in online WHS, you can use this to actually upload certain things inside the system relating to that contractor if you wanted to. These icons here are just highlighting if they've actually entered their workers' compensation and it is up to date. If it's not up to date, it'll actually go back to a red cross. It's this view icon here, and we'll go through that later. You can view all the contractor's details as well as all the documents they've actually uploaded. This edit, just like everything throughout the entire system, you can actually adjust and edit those contractor details. And the status icon, just like everything in all the registers, you can deactivate this contractor. It'll go into the deactivated register, but you can bring that contractor back where it may be. Just like every other register, you've got publish register, so you can publish this register in a variety of reports as well. And you've got a video here. When you actually click on this video in the next couple of days, it'll actually bring up this webinar. So you will find this webinar in the help section, in the help/video, and you'll see that we've got all the webinars previously in that section as well. Alrighty, so contractors are extremely important, and your duty of care to make sure that the contractors under your control have the proper qualifications to undertake that task. So you also need to make sure that that contractor has got the proper safe systems in place, and most importantly, they've got all the insurances that they needed to undertake that work. So that is your duty of care. And how do you do that? Well, by using this system will really help you do it, most of those kind of processes. So you select a contractor, but I'll select one that we've already done here. How about that? So you can just see one that's completed the form instead of me typing it out. So you can enter the contractor name and the contact details and their email address. You can fill in all this other data if you wish. I'd say I'd be a good idea that you actually do. You want to try to get as much information on that contractor inside the system as possible. You can actually enter the list of activities that the person will undertake. But in an upgrade coming in just after mid-year this year, which I'll be showing you a little bit of, is that you'll be able to add activities here, and then you'll be able to categorize certain contractors. For example, contractors might be plumbers, contractors might be electricians, and so forth. So a little bit of a feature coming into the system, into the new kind of process in the system where you'll be able to categorize lots of things in throughout the system. You can actually relate it to a location of work, remembering if you actually relate it to the site in red, that is your general site, so therefore the contractor will be seen in every single site's contractor register. If you only relate it to, say, a certain site, it won't be seen in all the other sites. It'll only be seen in the maintenance work register via their site icon page. So it's best, say for an example, if you do have contractors relating to your entire company, you might just So for an example, related to the general site. If you're one of the companies that actually have different areas in each state of Australia, or different, areas that the contractors wouldn't be actually the same contractors, well, then you would actually relate it to the individual site. This one here is a feature that if you could use, it'd be great, because if the contractor does reply to an email, it'll actually come back to online WHS. Whereas this feature in here, you can actually say, no, I want it to actually email me if someone replies to that email. So here is actually the start date work of that contractor, and that will be highlighted on the email when you send it to them. And here is a completion date. Well, you could put the completion date that when it's going to be done, so it starts at this date to this date here, or you can save an example and enter that, come back and edit it later and put in the end date when they actually completed, so just for your records. This is the date that you actually sent the link, so you'll see that that is a mandatory field. All the icons here highlighted with a red asterisk are mandatory fields. So this feature here has probably been in the system for quite some time, but it is fairly newish. Where you can, this is the email actually sent out to the contractor with the above information. So in this information here, you can manipulate this email if you wanted to. So you're looking at, you can enter data in here, but you'll see that this is a pretty good description of what you want the person to do. You can actually upload documents inside the system, and it's literally just like adding an attachment to this email, because that's what it does. You can add as many attachments as you wish. If I scroll down here, I can actually tick this box, and when I actually select update, it'll actually automatically bring up the list of inductions that's in your induction register. So what you can actually do is reassign that induction to be completed by a given date, or whatever it may be, if they've done it before, or assign it to how they're going to, what date that you want them to do. There was a review date that was actually set automatically and went to an automatically yearly kind of date. And this feature is actually being, kind of a little bit of a change inside the system, where you can actually set a review date, but, currently at the moment, if you have got ones that's already been preset inside your system, you could clear that date if you wanted to, if it's not going to be a review, and submit. And then you can assign as many inductions as you want to that contractor and finish. So that is now emailed out that contractor the four-step kind of form, compliance form with that email. So what actually happens now is the contractor will actually select on the link on that. It'll say, dear ABC contracting company, you need to fill in select the link below and complete the form as per the email that you actually entered just here. Whatever you've entered here will be on the email that is actually sent to the contractor with these attachments. So say for an example, there might be certain things in the four-step form of the contracting form that that you might want them to complete extra. That's where you would actually upload that data. So when they actually get that link, they'll select on that link. They do not see all this data up here. Literally, they have their own little portal. And in this portal, they can actually enter whether an employee or subcontractor and enter their name, email address, mobile number, date of birth, and upload an image. Select if they're male or female, whatever it may be. They're not mandatory fields other than the name. So it's the best thing for you to do is make sure in that email, if you did want to change it, to make sure that they did upload an image of themselves, that you actually highlighted in your email and you adjusted that email to say, please make sure you need to make sure that you upload your image inside the system. Here, say for example, any induction has been assigned, and this has been a change in the system in the last 6 months to a year to 6 months, where it's much easier to use, where the person's big button, they can click on that and it'll automatically take them to the contractor induction, where the person will actually undertake the online induction that it's been assigned to them. Remembering you can actually edit that online induction by going to the user admin dashboard, induction icon, and then select the managed quiz next to the contractor induction and manipulate that induction to how you suit. But it's not a bad little induction, the one's preloaded in everyone's system. But again, a lot of people like to make changes to that or make it site specific, depending on what they are. So you can do that if you wanted to. So it's come down here. This is a feature, a couple of new features where you can actually, this contractor can send that off to another person if they wanted to, or they can actually upload something manually that you've entered inside the system that from an attachment for them to complete. They can actually upload it manually inside the system here. If I come down here further, the person can actually add all their qualifications inside the system. Sorry about that. Qualifications inside the system with alert date and expiry date. And they can add as many qualifications as they wish. They can add as many employees as they want inside the system by just literally selecting the Add Employee button. And they can upload all their safe work method statements, or you might, in that email say, make sure you actually upload certain documents inside here relating to this, and this is where you would actually get them to upload those kind of documents. It might be a specific kind of document relating to the activities they're undertaking. The person selects saves, it'll actually bring up all the people that's been entered, whether they're an employee contractor inside the system. Do you want to send this induction to them? Yes. So what that has done now, it'll actually email all those employees and that subcontractor that were on that list an email to say, please complete this. Again, obviously sometimes that people might, the subcontractors or other contractors that their employees mightn't have emails. So what they could do is, that's where they could actually, you could attach a document and say, send this out to your people and get them to complete it and upload it in that upload feature so you can get them to upload it. Contractor then would go on to the next step, and they would just, making sure that they've got systems in place. You can actually get these kind of simple kind of forms here. One of the things you might want them to do, depending on what site they're at, is let them, make sure that they put a site representative inside the system. But you're looking at the third step or fourth step is probably one of the most important ones, making sure that their contractor is insured. Get their workers' compensation and public liability or any other insurances that you need to do for the work they're going to undertake. So it's make sure they put an alert date and expiry date and they upload that document inside the system. You can come down here if it's certain things that they're working with children, or they're on a facility. You need to, a lot of places you need to get the police checks and working with children. So get those details, and you would actually also maybe manipulate that email at the start to send them out exactly what you're after. So you're looking at, once that contractor has actually completed that form, they select save, it will go orange inside the system. Well, your duty of care still hasn't finished yet. What you need to make sure that you do is you come down and you can have a look at all the details that this person has actually entered in. You've got to verify and make sure that this is correct. So if I've actually got the contractor card, I can print that out and I can send that to that contractor if I wanted to. There's going to be a feature coming up soon where it'll automatically send it out to the contractor, that everyone they've done. So it's but if I scan that QR code, you can make this QR code public by going to the public section, which I'll show you. And automatically when they scan that, it's going to, well, not only they can actually see all their insurances and all that kind of stuff and so forth, but you're looking at, if I scroll down to the bottom, it actually will highlight, if I scan that QR code, it will actually open up this document here where I can actually see all their details of that contractor inside the system and their documents they've actually uploaded. You can come down here and select, I would like the contractor to receive an email alert when their insurances are either due or expiring. So if you tick that box, it's not mandatory and it's not pre-done. You would need to tick that after you actually view this contractor. And now that will actually send off that contractor an alert to say, by the way, your workers' compensation for whatever it may be is expiring. Please select here. They click that link and it will actually open up the fourth step of the contractor module where they can update their details. And believe me, contractors actually do that. If they don't do it and then they reply in that email, that's why it's very important that you actually select, when you're filling in that initial form, please, that you're the person that's actually sending out the email. So if they do reply, it goes back to you instead of into Online WHS. Here's a brand new feature that went in last week. You can also, if you wanted to, select that the contractor's qualifications of their team members are expiring, and it can notify them. You could select it if you wanted to. Again, non-mandatory. You don't have to do it if you want to do it. It's up to you. But the best thing, what you need to do is make sure that you're looking at all the documents that that contractor uploaded, as well as all their details, qualifications, and or their, most importantly, their insurances and safe work methods. And you would verify that date. When you do verify it, it will go green inside the system. So now, say for an example, when the contractor comes on site, you can actually, during the kind of process, make sure that they have their they bring their ID card, and you can scan their QR code. It's going to bring up all these details here and so forth. So one of the things inside the system here is that it actually maintains all the records of their contractors' inductions and so forth. Not only in that view section, you can actually, if I actually select that view section and come down to this contractor here, I can actually view their qualifications that's been entered, and I can also view the inductions that's been done. And it's on the card as well. So but I can, say for an example, come here. If I wanted to see all the people actually doing that, I can go view, and there's the ones there. Person has failed it because it was 100%, and this person is actually overdue. And then I can view the subcontractor, which was the other person inside the system. Their system's overdue. So you can contact these people and say, by the way, you haven't done those inductions, you're not coming on site until they're done. Or if they do come on site, what you could do is just log into your system and basically go to ABC Contractors, or whatever it may be that client is, and then sorry, let me take it back there a little bit. So you could actually come down here, select the edit icon next to that contractor, and then you could actually come down here, select the update contractor details, and open this up here and get the person or whoever an employee that hasn't done it to undertake the induction here by clicking this button, and it'll update their records. So one of the things that has been requested by a client, and it's going to the system, is not only that tick box for the contractor to be notified that their qualifications are expiring, but you'll see in next week, hopefully next week, early next week, that in the section you've already got a contractor email alert to alert you. So yes, tick that box there to alert the contractor their their insurances and so forth are expiring. This icon in your alert section, user admin dashboard contractors, this will actually highlight and alert you that if they haven't updated their insurances and workers' compensation, etc. and so forth. But you're looking at the next one here is that you can actually add another one there that you can alert yourself that the contractor's qualifications have actually expired as well. So two different qualification alerts. So you might want to just remembering that this is insurances and this one here is for qualifications of that contractor. And those two tick boxes inside the system in the contractor view section is basically alerting the contractor. So in your user admin dashboard, it alerts you, and in the contractor section, it alerts the contractor. Totally up to you how you want to set that up. It's one other thing is that a good idea for you to do, if you wanted to, is come to this checklist section, and you can actually build. There is already a contractor pre-qualification induction in there, but you might just do it just as a side induction of some sort, whatever it may be. But you can build a checklist inside the system, hence why you've actually got the contracting companies in here where they can select open and they can relate to that company. So then you can build depending on what kind of checklist you want them to do. Another thing, say for an example, inside the system, if I actually go to the add incident form, if I select contractor, it'll actually not only select the contracting company here, but also it'll actually select all their employees and subcontractors that they've entered inside the system. So now you can actually log an incident relating to a contractor as well as their employees and subcontractors inside the system. So it is extremely important for you to make sure that contractors who are either undertaking work for you or contractors who are coming onto your site are in the system. I'm going to give an example of that. A lot of people say, for an example, in their plant equipment, if they've got a forklift, the major thing is that they think they've got to they've got to keep the forklift in a safe working order, and they've got to do their pre-start checklist and your designated walkways and so forth, and that's it. But when it comes down to it, that forklift is actually being maintained by an external person most of the time. So it's extremely important, whether it's a forklift or whether it's a truck, or whether it's a car, any machinery that that you have, that you make sure that the person who's actually doing the maintenance on that machinery is in your contractor section. It's extremely important, because if you don't and a person uses that machine, something goes wrong, it can come back to you, especially if that person wasn't qualified to undertake that role, as well as if their insurances are not in place. I did do a talk in front of this association once, and they actually put all these sprinklers in the roof. And this person was one of the guys was busy, so he hired another contractor to come into this to put the sprinklers in this hospital. And basically, when the person went to go test that those sprinklers, it doused an $11 million machine. So there was only 2 of those machines in Australia, one in Darwin and one in Melbourne. So they had to transport all of the patients who actually used that machine down to Melbourne. You can imagine what the insurance cost and all those different things. When it was investigated, it was actually found out that contractor that was actually hired wasn't not only qualified to undertake the role, but no insurances in place or anything like that. The person who actually hired that contractor to undertake the role then is the person responsible for all those different things. So it's really important. You want to make sure that all your contractors that you're using do have the appropriate qualifications to undertake their role, as well as making sure they've got proper safe work processes. But most importantly, please make sure that they're actually insured and do all these different things. Anyway, thank you very much. I hope that kind of helped you learn a little bit more about the contractor section in the system, and hope you have a great day.